What's up, guys? It is Bruno Mars, and I'm not just talking to the moon when I say we are building a 24-karat space. This backyard has three main hangout areas. The first one is going to be a four-season porch. Second, the fire pit and outdoor kitchen, and the third is a screened-in pergola. We've really never done that before, so let's check it out. Okay, so I'm obviously not Bruno Mars, but for some reason, his song Talking to the Moon has just been stuck in my head lately, and I figured we're building a space everybody's going to be able to sit out on and look at the stars, whatever the weather is, and it just seemed like a fitting song for this space. So what you see happening right now is we are staining the boards that the pergola is going to be built with. These have been sitting out for a while, they've cured, they've had a chance for the moisture to actually dry out, and we want to stain them ahead of time so that as we are constructing them and building them, they can't always get access to all of our little facets that we build on the pergola. You can't always get that paintbrush back into. So we wanted to make sure they're stained and they're ready to go before we build the pergola. Next step is to jump into the excavation. So you can see we're digging down for our base, and underneath of this, there is about 6 inches of stone for our foundation of our pavers. So we excavate down, we tamp the subsoil, we then lay out fabric. We get 57 stone, which is the stone you see being laid out right now over that fabric. We make sure that that's kind of spread out, and then we continue spreading our fabric, continue spreading our stone, and we compact this all the way up. So we're putting 5 inches of 57, 1 inch of number 8s. We screed that out, and then it's time to lay pavers. One important factor in picking the height of the pavers is making sure that all the treads are the same depth. If you had a tread that was 7 inches, another tread that was 7 inches, and your third tread was 6 inches, it actually causes you to trip. You lose your balance. You'd think it would be the other way, that if the last tread was 8 inches instead of the other 7, that you would kind of like fall forward. But for whatever reason, when that last paver is higher, it just almost causes you to fall flat on your face. So that's where we always start. Where the stairs are, make sure that our depth is the right. We try never to cheat around that last step because we really don't want somebody tripping and then being upset at us. After that, paver on. So you can see how quickly these guys are laying pavers. This is just over the course of one day that they're laying all these pavers. It goes down really, really quick once the base is in place. Now, the base is absolutely critical, and that's what takes most of the time to make sure that it is stabilized, making sure that there's not soft spots in the soil. So if we do run across those soft spots, we dig them out, and then we cover those with fabric, and then we put sometimes Portland cement in with our gravel to make sure that it's solid. Thankfully, we didn't run across any issues like that with this space. It was all very easy to dig and compact because it's just that straight orange clay. Typically in a new development, there's no real issues with the soil because a lot of times they strip the trees, they strip the topsoil, they bring in truckloads upon truckloads of clay or fill dirt, they spread it around and they build their foundations, and all the soil that they're digging from the basements, that all gets spread around. So you can see this soil has no topsoil, or this earth has no topsoil. It's just that straight orange clay, which when it's dry, perfectly fine, but when it gets wet, it gets absolutely icky. And that did happen quite a few times on this job. It rained while we're working, and it almost stopped us if we hadn't been using this open grade style that doesn't hold moisture. But thankfully, we were able to continue trekking on. While these guys continue to lay pavers, let me tell you guys a little story about this job. When I first came around the corner of this backyard with my clients, the very first thing I noticed is I can see literally everybody's backyard all the way across the ravine that is in the back of this neighborhood. You feel 100% exposed. I know that was my client's biggest concern when they first talked to me. So we had to come up with a way to answer that as we were building out this space and coming up with the design. The layout of the actual pavers and the components wasn't something that could be completely moved around because they wanted to still have space for the dogs to run and have space where they're able to use the yard. They didn't want to spread this all out and tuck it into corners. So one cool thing that we did is there's going to be some automatic screens coming down from the top of the pergola here. We made sure to get those in actually like a sheen. So when the sun is shining against it, not only does it keep the bugs out, but that sheen also makes it so you can't see through it. It's like a one-way glass. So they're going to be able to sit underneath their pergola. They've got the tinted polycarbonate roof that's going to be going on. And you'll see in a little bit that tinted polycarbonate roof is going on the surface. And then they're going to have these automatic push of a button screens that are going to come down, and that reflection from the sun will make sure that they are 100% private in that pergola. And then the last component of making sure that they had privacy was building actually some panels on the outside of the patio that are eventually going to have some foliage like jasmine or clematis trained up them, and then some garden beds in front of that. So all of those components come together, make sure that our client doesn't feel like they're exposed and just out in the middle of the open for everybody to see what they're doing every section of the day. As you can see, we're just about finished with the actual pavers, and it's time to move on to the outdoor kitchen. And I'm calling specifically attention to the outdoor kitchen because if you pay only attention to the fire pit that is being built right now, you'll miss the fact that there is an outdoor kitchen being built in the background, because I did the first time I watched this copy. This fire pit is going to be a gas fire pit. So you'll notice there's some aluminum screens that we just put in, and those screens are to allow airflow to go back and forth to make sure that it doesn't blow up in our face at some point in the future. All right, now you might have to rewind to actually see this happen, but the seating wall was also being built at the same time as that outdoor kitchen, and these guys are multitasking today. Right now the caps are getting cut and put on, and that whole outdoor seating area is coming together as well. Last few components going into the outdoor kitchen. We've got a trash can. We're gonna have an outdoor storage area going in, and then there's also going to be a grill. And then this whole thing is gonna be topped in granite. Absolutely stunning. So remember at the beginning of this video, I talked about those motorized screens on this pergola? Well, was a little bit of a bait and switch because they're not quite installed yet. They are coming 100%, and we will show you guys them installed and us clicking a button and them going up and down because they're really cool. We also had to put a lot of thought into how to make a pergola that no bugs can get into. So there's screens going in on the bottom of these posts, all the gaps are getting filled, and then those motorized screens actually have some fringes and felt that are also going to keep the insects out. But I really couldn't leave you guys hanging without seeing how cool and awesome this space is as it's come together. We used a cover your pergola polycarbonate roof. You can see our outdoor kitchen covered in granite, our gas fire pit, and all of our pavers with the privacy screens. This truly is an awesome space. Get outside, my friends.